Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Craig and I am the Learning Platform Specialist here at Kineo. I work with all of our existing clients, new onboarded clients, and everybody in between, training on the Totara LMS system. And if I don't know the answer, I bet I know somebody who does. So that is my role here at Kineo. A little bit about office hours for those of you who haven't had the chance to join us. What we do is we offer this only to our existing clients. So you get a 15-minute feature presentation. That is actually posted up on YouTube for anyone's access for the feature presentation. However, the 45 minutes of open floor questions and discussion, that is open strictly to our clients. And we like you to come in and ask us any questions that you may have. If I can't address it right here in the call, I gladly will follow up with you and make sure that we get things taken care of and make sure that you're comfortable with whatever your question is. So today we're going to talk a little bit about the certificate upload area. I don't think a lot of people are aware of what that is or that it's even part of Totara and that it's something that's just inherent and core to the system. We get a lot of support questions around certificates and people wonder, they think that our support guys have to do the loading of those images for them when actually you don't. It's just part of the system. So where has this been all your life? Again, it's core. It's just underneath the certificate plugin. We'll take a quick look at that. And then, okay, great, how do we use it? So let's take a look at that. And I do actually have in here the appropriate sizes that you guys will need as far as the images that need to be uploaded and all of that good stuff. So first, let's take a look at a certificate. So typically, if I come in here, take a look. Typically, your basic certificate has a few core display options in there. However, as you note, they probably don't match your particular environment and they probably don't match your branding. So if you look under design options, a couple of different options. You have the fancy black, blue, green, brown, black, blue, brown, green. There's 3 or 4 different types. And these are just border images that go around the actual file. You can do a border image, you can do border lines. Border lines, those are, again, just in color. You can place those around there. Watermark image, signature image, and seals. But most people aren't aware of who R.V. Vincent is, and that probably doesn't fit your environment either. So where do we go to load our own stuff and what we need to do there? So to make those adjustments, you would go to Site Administration, and then you would jump down here to Plugins, Activity Modules, and you would go to Certificate. I'm going to right-click Open in a new tab so we can jump back and forth between the two and see things taking place and happening. So in this particular area, you have a couple of different options. You can actually change the font that is available inside of that certificate. Unfortunately, you can't, by core, kind of move the font around as far as where it appears on the page. That, in fact, would be something that would have to be adjusted within the code. However, if you don't like that font, you can make changes to the font. This is, however, going to impact all of your certificates throughout the site. So it's going to be a kind of an all or nothing type of situation, which, in the grand scheme of things, in most cases, that makes sense because you kind of want to standardize your certificates throughout your system. So the upload area, where is that located? It's right here. It's just a link. You click on that link. It's going to take you to another page. In this particular area, you have the ability to upload certificate border files. You can do watermark files, seal files, as well as signature files. So you've got a couple of different file types that you can adjust and utilize here. So let's take a quick look at what size those files need to be. So the file sizes for your borders, that's typically going to be 1053 by 808 or 1024 by 831 pixels. And that's kind of in the ballpark. That's going to get you all the way around that certificate and get you the typical PDF piece of paper sized certificate. Your watermark image, this is going to be behind the text on the certificate, the core text that is placed into that. So that's what the watermark is. Typically, it's anywhere from 380 by 380, 386, 468, somewhere in there, about the same size. Your seal image is going to show up in the lower right-hand corner, and then your signature image is going to show up in the lower left-hand corner. Okay, so that's where those are going to be located and where they're going to be found. I have found that using this, typically it works best when you use images with transparent backgrounds. So for example, your border might look something like, let me see if I have mine still open, the one I created. Let's see here. There it is. So your border may look something like this in your text editor, where you have a transparent background and then you have the border around the edges. So let's take a look at what happens when we load those files in and when we utilize them. I've already made a couple of files here. I've made a border, I've put in a watermark, a seal image, and then I've also uploaded a signature. So what we're going to do here, really simple to do. I'm going to grab the Kineo border file. This is a PNG. All of these are PNG files. The watermark file, we're just going to grab that, drop that in. The certificate seal file, we're going to grab that, drop that in, and same for signature. Okay, so we're dropping all of those files in and we're going to save changes. Now keep in mind that it does say in here, if you take a look at it, it will say that the file size is unlimited. So you could actually have pretty significantly large files in here, but keep in mind what that is going to do is that is actually going to make the certificate load time take a little bit longer. So you really don't want a huge file in here, but just keep that in consideration and keep that in mind, because when somebody clicks to open their file, it may take it a bit longer to load. Also, you can load multiple files in here. So if you have 3 or 4 different border types that you prefer to use across your site, so if you have a manager training program and the outline has to be red, and then you have a new employee training program and the outline needs to be blue, whatever, you could do that. So that's going to give you a little more flexibility down within the certificates. So now that I've saved that, I'm going to go back into my editing certificate page. We're going to take a look at the design options again, and let's take a look at our border image. I'm going to refresh my screen first just to make for sure that it's going to display all the new stuff that we've put in there. So for our design options, we now are showing a Kineo border. Watermark, we're now showing the Kineo watermark. Signature, we're showing my signature in there. Seal or logo, and I believe I had named that one seal. So let's go ahead and save and display this. This does have pre-placement as far as where things are going to appear. And then you receive your nice, lovely little certificate with all of your good stuff there. So you've got your watermark showing in the background, you have your seal showing in the lower right-hand corner, signature in the lower left-hand corner, and your border going all the way around the image. So that, in a nutshell, is how you can utilize the certificate upload area. A lot of people aren't familiar with it and don't realize it is there, but it is definitely there and something that you can utilize. So guys, do you have any questions for me? I'm going to turn the floor over to you.